Good morning. So today's class we are going to discuss exploratory research, what exactly it is, what are the purposes and what are the methods. So briefly we have already seen in the first class, but once again we will be studying it. So what is exploratory research? That has been already explained in last classes. So once again I will explain it. So it is the preliminary research to clarify the exact nature of the problem to be solved. Before going to any research, we are going to do some preliminary research to understand it. What type of problem exactly we are going to study and going to be solved. It is used to ensure additional research is taken into consideration during an experiment as well as determining research priorities. Collecting data and honing in on certain subjects which may be difficult to take note or of without exploratory research. So additional research, we do this okay in exploratory. So the reason behind this is so during an experiment as well as determining research priorities, so there has to be some additional research which will help us to know the exact problem which is going to be studied. So here we collect the data and honing in certain subjects. Okay. So where it is very difficult to note without exploratory research, we cannot do that. So exploratory research, as the name implies, intends merely to explore the research questions and does not intend to offer the final conclusive solution to existing problems. So we have discussed this, that it is just an exploring thing, but not a exact end or a giving conclusion or solution to the problems. Okay, it is the beginning of the study, we say. So here, the questions and whatever we are exploring, okay, the research question we are doing, and they are not going to offer the final and conclusion about any problem which is existed. So this type of research is usually conducted to study a problem that has not been clearly defined yet. So any problem which is going through, so you have to understand it, the nature of it. Okay, so then you can uh, go further. Such exploratory research has to be done. So conducted in order to determine the nature of the problem. Exploratory research is not intended to provide conclusive evidence. Okay. So here you are not going to get any evidence, but you're just understanding the nature of the problem. But this research will help you to have a better understanding of the problem, what exactly the problem is. So when conducting exploratory research, the researcher ought to be willing to change uh, his or her direction as a result of revelation of new data and new insights. So exploratory research is the researcher's tool to understand an issue more thoroughly before attempting to quantify mass response into statistical inferable data. So whenever we are going to do the research, we have to collect the huge data for analysis. Okay, so exploratory research, it is act as a tool. So you can get into the issue which you are going to study thoroughly. You do some survey, you go for some literature review, you can go for some focus group. Okay. So furthermore, without using exploratory research to guide the survey design and question building process, your entire research goal may be heading in the wrong direction. Okay. So if you do this, if you are not going for exploratory research before going to the big research, so you are going to face this problem. So let's say we are creating a restaurant, an example, restaurant feedback survey with end goal of identifying and improving upon our restaurant's weak point. We're going to study about the restaurant, and the end goal is so under improving restaurant and the weak point whichever it is facing. So here we may decide to make respondents rate their level of happiness with our restaurants, customer service, whatever they are providing, the menu selection, how they do, and the quality of the food. So though this list may seem extensive, sirs, so it is completely possible for a significant portion of respondents to be most dissatisfied with ulterior issues like the restaurant's atmosphere or location wherever it is located. For example, your hotel is a restaurant is very nice. You have good food, good menu, everything. Quality of food is very nice, but the atmosphere and the interior design or the location where it is located, so that might dissatisfy the customer. So the customer might not come there. So, however, without any preliminary exploratory research to identify this, our survey will miss this issue. So to know whole and thorough whatever you're going to do, so first you need to understand the problem thoroughly. For that reason, you have to go for exploratory research. And the following are some examples for studies with exploratory research design in business studies. So if you look at the first example, a study into the role of social networking sites as an effective marketing communication channel. So this is an example. And next is an investigation into the ways of improvement of quality of customer services within hospitality sector in particular area, that is London. And next is an assessment of the role of corporate social responsibility, that is CSR activity, on consumer behavior in pharmaceutical industry in the USA. So these are some topics and examples. So where the exploratory research can be designed before getting into the whole problem. So need to do some initial examination. So then it can be go. So next, the explanatory research. Just give me a minute. Okay. The types and methodologies of exploratory research, what we exactly do is the primary research methods and secondary research method. So in a primary research method, we go for survey, interview, focus group, and observation. And secondary research method, we can get some data from online survey, online data, literature, which has been published already, and we can go through the case study also. And now, if you look at explanatory research, the primary purpose of explanatory research is to explain why phenomena occur and to predict future occurrence. Okay, so this is regarding explanatory research. So here, explanatory studies are characterized by a research hypothesis that specify the nature and direction of the relationship between or among variable being studied. Okay, so probability sampling that we have discussed in last classes, that normally a requirement in explanatory research because the goal is often to generalize the result to the population from which the sample is selected. Whatever you are selecting, so that has to be generalized. Okay, how much sample has to be chosen with the help of the sampling method. So the data are quantitative and almost always require a use of statistical tests to establish the validity of the relationship. The following is the example. So here explanatory survey research may investigate the factors that contribute to customer satisfaction and determine the relative weight of each factor, how much it is impacting, or seek to model the variables that lead to shopping cart abandonment also. So now if you look at the next, that is types of methodology of exploratory research, the primary research methodology and secondary research. So today we will be just knowing about the first one, that is survey method. Okay, the basically the primary research, it is information gathered directly from the subject. So directly you are taking it. This is the primary research. It can be through a group of people or even an individual. Okay. Such a research can be carried out directly by the researcher himself or can employ a third party to conduct it on their behalf also. Okay, so both things can be done here. So primary research is specifically carried out to explore a certain problem which requires an in-depth study. Okay, so uh, anything you would like to explore, okay, that is nothing but exploratory research. So certain problem which require an in-depth study. For example, before going to the main study, you need to understand all the aspect of it. So in that, the first comes is the survey or poll method. Okay, So these are used to gather information from a predefined group of respondents. Okay. So it is one of the most important quantitative method that has been used, and various types of survey or polls can be used to explore opinions, trends, etc. So in this method, you can go, it's an easy method also, you can go for it. So with the advancement in technology, surveys can now be set online and can be very, very easy to access. You can create some online form, you can mail it, and you will get the data. For instance, use of a survey app through tablets, laptops, or even mobile phones, this information is also able to be researched in real time as well as the apps also can be used. So nowadays, most organizations offer short length surveys and rewards to respondents in order to achieve higher response rate. So this is all about the survey poll method. And if you look at the example of survey poll, so survey is sent to a given set of audience, okay, to understand their opinion about the size of mobile phones when they purchase them, how much display they are looking for, what is the weight, these all aspects might come out. So before going to the big study, you can get these all things done. Any suggestions or any inclusion can be done. If any option can be given a box below to the questions, close-ended questions like select any one of the following, which you are having four options. So based on such information, organization can dig deeper into the topic and make business related decisions. So this is what happens when especially you are going for the exploratory research in that particularly survey method. So this is regarding today's class.